Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I'm super excited to come to you today with another fresh new episode for you. And we have none other than Sam Rankin with Etch Outdoor on the show today. Another great guest interview. I'm excited for these. I love doing guest interviews. We had vacation, and then I did a couple solo shows, and so this is our first guest interview we've had, just a true guest interview in a while. And so I'm excited to do that. We've been trying to work on this for like 6 months. I've been beating Sam's door down trying to get him on, and so I finally snagged him for an afternoon, and we said let's do it. So I'm excited to have you here today, buddy.
Hey, good to be here. And yeah, I apologize. You're busy, I'm busy, and
it's part of it.
Makes it challenging, man. but it's part of growing a business. It ain't always easy.
That's right. Nobody will ever hear me complain. Like, I'll never complain or get on you about missing meetings or having to reschedule. Like, the amount of times I've had to do that crap, and I'm not even doing anything to your level yet. So I totally understand it, and that's part of. It's part of, I know, building a building. All that's going on right now. So that's all adds to the pressure and the schedule and all that stuff. So you will never hear anything negative from me about that.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I was late today. I was finishing a one-on-one. I'm like, all right, I got to stand up because I got to get going.
Yeah.
To get to this, and I live and die by my calendar. I don't know about you, but
yeah,
you get behind for an 8 a.m. and it's like my whole day is just.
Yep.
I know I'm going to run behind all day, so it's tough. But no, I'm absolutely excited to be here. It's a privilege, to get in front of a new audience, to have new conversations and be able to bounce and learn from you. I don't ever look at these as one-sided conversations. So they're exciting for me too, because there's a lot of really smart people out there. I'm probably the least smart of most of them. I just somehow have done it. So,
hey man, you get around the right people. Yeah. I mean, you probably have the same philosophy when you were getting started. You got around people that were smarter than you, further along than you, and see where it takes you. So,
Still do.
Exactly. You never really outgrow that. So I'm in that right now. Like, get around people that are doing bigger, better than me, and we'll see where it takes us. So, well, man, people have probably heard of you. They probably live under a rock if they haven't. You've been kind of blowing up, just getting the business growth going, getting active on social as well. Everybody knows you as probably the tight pants guy. I mean. But you might as well take it and run with it, dude. Just accept it. I'm for it though. I like it. So, own it and go with it.
Well, I mean, I'm 6'7". They don't make many pants long enough for me to begin with, and I've always been a huge Lululemon guy.
Yeah.
Love them. I think they're the most comfortable pair of pants ever. You play golf in them. I wear them around the house because I think they're more comfortable than sweatpants. I wear them to work every day.
Yeah.
Dude, they're good. So that has just and a mustache have just slowly kind of become my brand. And now, I'm in too deep and I can't backtrack anymore. So it's just, I own it. And
that's right.
And that's who I am. That's who I am.
There's no way around it. Are you going to rock the mustache all the way through the wedding?
Absolutely. I told my fiance, I was like, yeah, I'll shave it. And she's like, no, like, that's you. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, and at first it started in November and I just didn't get rid of it. And it's like, well, all right, we keep her trimmed up a little bit better now, but that's just slowly becoming the brand. And it's like dads and goatees, like you just got to have that kind of brand. And there we are.
Hey, so, if you got the better half's approval there, then you stick it out and go with it. So
absolutely.
I'm with you though. Those Lulu pants, those style of pants, man. I don't know how guys wear jeans every day. Like, guys will work in jeans. It is I don't care if you're working or not. Like, I despise wearing jeans. I will wear khakis all day long over a pair of jeans.
I also like, I'm not in the field ever.
Yeah.
I'll help here and there with snow removal, and I'll show up. When we start at midnight, I'll be out for a couple hours just to make sure guys know that I'm a part of it and I'm with them. But I don't ever touch the field. Like I don't. My area of influence is usually inside the four walls of the office, and I'm kind of more directing traffic now. So I don't have the need for pants. I also like, I'm wearing a golf shirt today, but I wear a dress shirt probably 3-4 days a week. I expect that I need to carry myself at a higher standard. I all year last year I probably wore a hat 2 or 3 days. Like I don't do it. I think it's, as a leader, I think it's part of my responsibility to get up, to do my hair, to have my cup of coffee before I get to the office and be full of energy when I walk in. I just think you have to carry yourself to the place you want to be, maybe even do a little bit more of that future self than current. So it's part of that kind of, I don't want to say error about myself, but I expect a lot out of myself, and our team has come to expect that out of me too, fairly. So.
That line right there is huge. Carry yourself to where you want to be. I mean, I always look at it like, and I'm preaching to the choir. I'm sitting here wearing a hat. We've been out putting a dump trailer together all day, putting walls on it and stuff.
Yep.
But I always love going to conferences in our industry because, like, you can tell you're at a green industry conference when every guy in there has a hat on, like everyone in there. And I literally, the last thing I was at an Element event in Nashville, and there was probably 50, 60 people in there. I would say probably 25 to 30% had hats on. So there was actually quite a few that didn't. But I will tell you this, the demographic of that audience was guys, million plus companies for the most part. And it made me think, my wheels actually started turning about this. I woke up that morning and was like, should I wear a hat today or should I not? I think one day I wore a hat, one day I didn't. But I was thinking to myself, like, when you're reaching that sales level that you're going to meet with high-end clients, things like that, like, you do have to present yourself in a different way than you do just your contractor out in the field type, like go meet with the homeowner. There's actual truth to that. I mean, how is that? Have you seen that, like, as you've grown your company? I mean, and also just spin this into, tell us a little bit about what you got going on at Etch. But I think there's actually true validity to this conversation.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I see, I'm involved in a number of peer groups and I'm in, I go to the NALP showcases and I go to a lot of those events and, you run into a lot of the same people and you always try to bump shoulders with those that are doing what you want to be doing. And, you go out to dinner with them and they're all wearing jackets and you just have a quarter zip on. It's like, and there's just that little bit of difference. Now, it doesn't frankly matter how you dress, but I think it's actually about how you carry yourselves and how you project. Are you respectable? Are you, it's just the vibe, I guess, is probably the best word I can use to describe it. And parlay that kind of into what we're doing at Etch is I'm trying to change. I'm trying to change the green industry and what small facet that I may be able to just in our local market or on a greater regional level. We're trying to leave a lasting legacy of white glove service, of high end design build, or frankly just design build experiences that are going to allow families to make memories in the backyard. Etch simply is to scribe. Our goal is to change, like I said, whatever small or large part of this industry we can, and whether it's in one market or many markets, our goal is to continue to grow. And that's the one thing that our team knows is constant is change. And it's truly a privilege to have a team that does want to do these things. We had just to kind of throw out a backstory in a conversation. We do what we call a level 10 meeting every single week. That's every morning at 8 a.m. on Tuesdays. Had that today. I showed up. I was actually late today. I had a engagement that started at 6:30 a.m. But when I got there at 8:30, they were already rocking and rolling like they didn't need me, which usually goes better that way. But a few weeks ago, I laid out our 10-year vision. I said, here's where we're at. Here's where we're going to be at the end of this year. Here's where we're going to be in 3 years. And here's where we're going to be in 10 years. And, I'll throw out that big scary number in front of you and your audiences. I said, end of 2033, we're going to be at $31 million. And I just stopped and I waited. And you could hear a pin drop and everybody's like, holy shit. Sorry. I don't know if you can swear on your podcast.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Everybody just kind of had that holy crap look on their face. And I said, and respectfully, if that's not what you're after, the door is behind you guys. block now, I won't hold it against you. And I waited and I waited and I said, all right, then let's get to work. And so our team knows that that's our mission. That's our goal is we have an excellent place to work. And if we grow, we're going to continue to provide additional high paying jobs for them to continue to excel, but also for somebody that comes in as just a crew member to grow into a crew leader, to a field leader, to production man. They are going to have room to grow, to improve their livelihood, to improve the lives of their family, and to just frankly grow. Together we'll grow is our tagline. And that's, a lot of what we do is kind of that driving force.
That's good, man. How long have y'all been in business?
5 years. So we started May of 2018. We just hit our 5-year birthday this past May. So this is our 6th full year here. We'll do about $6 million, just over $6 million in revenue this year. It's all a credit to our team. I'm never going to, I do these podcasts, but man, it's not me. It's so not. I'm good at organizing resources, at putting together a vision, and simply just acting every single day. That's what I think I'm really good at is kind of that intrinsic motivation. We're creating a new award called the GSD Award, the Get Shit Done Award. It's literally a toilet seat. And that's the crown for whoever gets shit done. It's kind of the support staff employee of the month award, if you will. And it's the level of action that it takes. It's, you can have all these good ideas, but they're worth nothing if you don't actually put them into place. And so that's where I feel like I really excel. And we've got team members that do a really good job of, landscape operations, lawn operations. Our controller is a financial wizard. She does fantastic. And, having these people in these roles that are experts at certain things, I kind of just pay attention to the scorecard and help them where I can. Less of, well, it's got to be me doing everything. Get out of your own way. That's what it boils down to.
If you can, walk yourself back 5 years and try to remember those early days. What were the first delegations you did? What were the first people you brought on board? Are you just naturally good at getting out of your own way? I think a lot of guys struggle with that. Okay, so you're not shaking your head. No, that's good. That's good. That means we can actually unpack this conversation a little further, and give some real advice here, because I am a huge believer that is the number one thing holding people back from growing a company is themselves.
Absolutely.
And I preach to myself as well. We've been in business the exact same time. I started spring of 2018. Literally going into year 6, the exact same scenario here. And we're at 2 totally different business levels. And so I would love to hear your take on what did you do? What changes did you make early on to help you grow and scale this business?
Yeah, you kind of alluded to it there, but Jeremiah, you are the problem and you are the solution.
Yep.
Just like I am the problem and I am the solution. Same way every single owner is. First year we did 52,000 in sales, or in completed revenue. It was just me and one other part-time guy helping mow. We just mowed, trim, blow, no ancillary services. I don't think we planted any plants or even trimmed any shrubs. It was literally just mow, trim, edge, go. All residential. Every single step from there on out. So I did get a little bit lucky on the landscape side. I hired a guy that he said, bid a patio, I'll just do it. And I'm like, all right, man. He had 3 years of experience. So I did get really
cool.
Call it lucky on that hire. Cole is his name. He currently runs all of our landscape construction. It's slated kind of to move into an operations manager role to actually control all of our production side. But everything to me was do it, so you understand it, and then empower somebody else to take it and run with it. So first it was mowing, a little bit on the landscape side, not a ton, but mowing, and then fertilization, weed control was the next one. So I was in the field for the better part of a year and a half doing fert and weed control, grew that, found somebody to take that over, and got out of the field myself. And so I think I speak for a lot of people, and I still speak for myself on this. I would love to do nothing. Wouldn't we all love to do nothing and get paid for it?
Of course, yeah.
The hardest part is not wanting to delegate and empower people. The hardest part is knowing how to do it. It's very simple if you actually take a step back and boil it down. Do it with them watching. Explain it. Watch them do it. Let them make mistakes and teach them from their mistakes, and then slowly and surely let them take over. The rule of if somebody can do it 80% as well, they ought to do it, not you. I've learned that my time is best spent on kind of the big picture, the sales items. That's where my time is best spent. And sometimes it even takes me reminding myself that, hey, you got to slow down. You actually have to teach somebody. I have a big problem. I'm not very specific sometimes in what I'm asking for with deliverables. And so we actually, in our culture, we train both ways. Like our team will actually train me on, Sam, here's what I need from you to give this back to you. And so it's all about training. One of the big things, I'm gonna flip the script on you, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
When you hire a guy, what's his first day look like?
What is it going to look like, or what has it looked like? There's two other different things.
No. What does it look like today?
Yeah, today. Well, today that's a good thing. It's changed today. So today it looks like we do a working interview for 2 weeks. So they're going to come and check it out, and because we're going to base pay off of that. We're going to have a pay range. And so we're going to base pay off of that. We're going to see how they are for 2 weeks. And then we will reevaluate after those 2 weeks and see where we go from there as far as pay scale goes. But first day, first day is, for me now, like this is stuff that I've learned, is I delegate from the get-go now. Whereas I didn't from the beginning. This past year has taught me a lot. We had a son. And so now I wanted to stay home with him a lot more. I just learned to delegate. We lost a few customers.
Good for you.
90%
awesome.
of the people stayed on board. So we just went with it.
Yeah. And so I'll even take you back 4 or 5 months ago, later parts of last growing season. And, we were doing, quite a few $1 million, but we were still, hey, you're hired. You start on Monday.
Yeah.
Monday would show up, we'd throw him a blue shirt, we'd throw him a hat, throw him safety glasses, earplugs, and say, all right, you're going to ride with Matt today.
Same. Yeah, this was
like,
yeah.
Huh? What? Like, well, what do I do? Where do I stand? What are our goals for this? And so that is one thing that we have absolutely hammered out and changed tenfold. And we made this change literally over the last 2 or 3 months. And it's something I'm incredibly proud of, is we're continuing to invest in that culture of training. So like day one, come in, you get your blue shirts, you get your hat, you get your earplugs, you get all your safety gear. And then you go through our handbook with Amanda, who helps run all of our HR. She also did your interview with her, so you know her well. But you're doing all your handbook stuff, you're reviewing all that, you're making sure all your forms are filled out legally, correctly. You have copies of, your driver's license and all those government regulated things. And then you're going to spend the afternoon doing some preliminary training with the production manager. And so the production manager is going to iron out the rest of to make sure a guy's comfortable on a lawnmower, make sure he knows how to run a weed whacker and a blower and an edger, or any specific tools to that job. Could be different in construction. But he's going to do, quote unquote, those things that are taken for granted, I think, by owners, because like we could jump back on a mower all day and it's just like riding a bike, but they've never done this. And so it's our opportunity to invest in them. But even more so, I think, than actually teaching them the skills or making sure their paperwork is on track, is we want to show them that, frankly, we care.
Yeah.
When you have an onboarding program and you're investing into somebody, instead of just throwing them to the wolves like every other company in their past has done, you're regarded higher. You have, buy-in from that employee, because they say, wow, they care about me. So I'm by default going to care just a little bit more about them. And ultimately what you're doing is you're hopefully setting this up for an employee who's going to be here for a very long time, because there's going to always be that training, that, the spring kickoff where they might learn some new things, or your weekly tailgate talks where you're teaching them a safety. Like, we just have that branded in our culture now, that sometimes growing is not all about dollars and cents, but it's actually about growing somebody else. And that's where, together we grow is not all about dollars. It's not all about the number of clients. It's sometimes just flat out about people. So that's important. And that's a long way around of saying onboarding is hugely important.
Yeah.
You cannot just throw somebody out there and expect them to do great, because they're not. Even if they're from a previous company and have previous experience, all they're doing is bringing bad habits with them. I guarantee it. I promise. they're not going to do it how you want to do it. So just take the time, step back, and explain it. It's very hard to do when you're small, but do it, and you'll thank yourself later.
Weird correlation here, but we're in the middle of onboarding with Element software right now, and it's the same principles. Like, you come from a different software, you're going to bring your habits over from that software that was not as advanced. So like, Element's going to walk you through a literally like 6-week onboard program, and they're going to invest into you. They're going to actually teach you how to do all the stuff. And because I'm a firsthand knowledge of this, like the last year I was using a different software, I didn't invest the time into it. And attend and go through the onboard process the way that I should. And so that onboard, like, that led to me not completing the tasks the way they should have been done, which in turn led to me canceling the software. And it's like,
yep,
that's what's going to happen with an employee. Like, if you don't do the onboard process, they don't get that training. It's going to lead to them not doing the work you want them to do, the quality that you wanted at, and then you're going to end up parting ways. They're either going to quit or you're going to get mad and fire them.
Absolutely.
I would say
Absolutely.
that's a correlation there that is true.
Absolutely. I don't know if you follow Mark Bradley on LinkedIn. I've just run into him at a handful of events, and I mean, some of the stuff, even just training based on the items that he puts out, just simply like about knowing your numbers and about some of the costs of team members and that sort of stuff. Like, man, he's got some really smart stuff. He is fantastically smart and got some really good information out there.
Yeah, it's getting to be around Mark is an awesome opportunity, and getting to learn from him and sit under his teaching is very, very valuable. I highly recommend anybody who has that opportunity to do it, take him up on that. So that's kind of where we're at right now. That's cool to hear that you've fixed your onboarding process, changed that around. Let's kind of go down the same track of people. I think that is a huge focus for us this year. Is we're focusing on people. We're wanting to grow people. We want to grow our company. We actually have set our goal. I would like to double this year, at least. And so we have to have people though. Like, we have to bring on at least 3, probably 2 to 3 more people to do that. And so, like, what is your take, your opinion? Like, what advice do you give to guys that are trying to bring new guys in? How are you attracting good employees? And 2, like, once you get them in, like, through the onboard process, like, skip all that entry level stuff. Once they're a part of your company, like, how are you creating culture to make them want to stay and grow a long-term place for them to work?
Sure. First, I mean, it's up to you, right? You seem like a really smart guy that I've gotten to know here, and doubling, so some people sounds outlandish, but to us, I mean, we've doubled or tripled every single year. That's the norm for us. This is gonna be the first year we don't, or I hope we don't. But it is. So to us, what gets measured gets managed. And I've got a lot of these taglines that I use, but they just help me repeat the same message over and over. They're ingrained in our team's mind. What gets measured gets managed. So all of our team, we've got currently 3 TVs. At the new facility, we'll have 6, and they just show all of our metrics. And so the important metrics to us are budgeted hours versus actual hours. And that is reported on an annual basis, as well as the last 30 days, warranty time, and unproductive time. So that could be driving, that could be time spent at the shop, anytime not clocked into a work ticket. So those are the numbers that matter a lot to us, because those are the hours that are going to either improve gross margin or significantly reduce it. And those conversations with our team happen very early on. We want our team to know what we're measuring. Everybody knows that, I'm looking at something behind the scenes to make decisions. So I just tell them flat out, here are the numbers that I am looking at. Here's what you can do to improve them. And I also give them the goal, right? Or our production managers give them the goal. And so it's not, hey, work as fast as you can, because you're going to always take until the deadline. Like, everybody calls it procrastination, but it's just simply like, we will take the maximum allowable time to get deliverable X done. And so if we tell our guys, hey, you have until the end of the day on Thursday to get this done, okay,
it'll get done.
They'll figure out Thursday. Mentally. Yeah, they'll pace themselves. It'll get done on Thursday. Yeah. I know it will. That's the way it happens. And so we started just giving that information to our team. And also last year was just simply putting these numbers up on a whiteboard. And we never even talked about it. We just put the numbers up on the whiteboard and we said, bigger numbers are good. And it was incredible that everybody's labor efficiency ratio went up because it started getting displayed in front of everybody with the crew leader's name right there on it. And so it's that culture piece kind of builds itself. It takes effort every single day, but even as far as we put our net operating profit right on the board, put that right in front of everybody. It takes some education to explain to guys like, hey, that new truck is after this. That new truck is not before this. So when we talk about cash flow and that sort of stuff, but our team is bought in on, if we hit a certain dollar figure, we get profit sharing bonuses. If we don't get bonuses this year. And I make it very clear to our team, like our bonus, for example, there's a book I'm looking at on my bookshelf right there. It's called Profit Works. Not Profit First, but Profit Works. And it is about a simple bonus program. And so we want to reward our team the same way we're rewarded. So our team is working towards a profit goal. And when they hit that goal, it's basically you have a hurdle, and every dollar over that hurdle is returned at, say, 20% or 40% or what have you. Do what makes sense for your personal business. But that way, our team is then rewarded the exact same way that selfishly that I am. If we don't make profit, I'm not going to win, and I'm not going to get a return on my investment, and be better off in putting it in the market. So our culture is very numbers driven, very metric driven. And that way it's clear and simple to our team. Now, it doesn't mean to say that I look at people strictly as numbers, because I don't. I'm, by nature, a very relationship driven person. But I also want them to know what I'm measuring and what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I think that's most fair.
Hey guys, it's Jeremiah here, and I want to tell you about my friends over at Tri-Green Equipment. If you own a green industry business anywhere from Central Alabama all the way up through Middle Tennessee, you have to hear about Tri-Green. No matter where you're at in your green industry journey of entrepreneurship, you need the right support team providing creative solutions that work just as hard as you do. And I'll be honest, for me, that's the team at Tri-Green. They have helped me so many times in so many binds. When I've had a mower go down and we were in the middle of spring rush, or it's 100 degrees out in the middle of summer and we need to keep moving, we couldn't get behind, they have an awesome never stop program that allows you to get a loaner when your mower goes down if it's going to take them more than 24 hours to fix that thing. So I tell you what, Tri-Green is awesome. There's so much more that we can share about that we don't have time for at the moment, but I want you to go over to trigreen.com, check them out, look for a dealer near you. Like I said, anywhere from Central Alabama all the way up through Middle Tennessee, they're going to help you with small handheld equipment all the way up to skid steers, mini skid steers, and everything in between. So check out Tri-Green Equipment. Could not recommend them more. Let's hop back into the show. So pairing my next...
I don't know if that answered...
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know if that answered any of your questions. I just usually, you've noticed this already, I just get going on tangents. You're over there drinking coffee, snoozing, and you're like, he'll be back. He'll be back.
No. You're good. The goes into what I was going to ask next, actually, which is, are y'all still paying hourly? Do you pay an hour? Like, is that how you structure your pay?
We do. Yeah, we do. We've got a couple crew leaders that are on air quotes salary.
Yeah.
So they're paid. They're paid actually for 50 hours a week, just to make this easiest. We did 50 hours a week. So really it's 55 straight hours, air quotes, because you've got that time and a half overtime burden in there.
Yeah.
If they go over that, they do get overtime. They are non-exempt employees legally, so you do have to pay them overtime. We just kind of pre-factor in that overtime. They're usually at like 42, 43 hours a week. There's two individuals that are on that. Everybody else is just hourly. We've got I think all of our support staff is on salary, just for ease. But all of our field staff is hourly, and that's the way that I like it, because I want to see guys get rewarded for working over 40 hours. Our typical week is that 42 to 43 range. Very rarely, or sometimes in the spring, you're over that, but I don't want people that work, I don't want people here I want people here that work to live.
Yeah.
And so if they think they need those 60-hour weeks so they can take home this big paycheck, it's like, hey, let's just teach you some more skills so you can work smarter, not harder, and take home that same paycheck, but only working 45 hours. Like, I think that's a win.
For sure. So the hourly thing is cool, because I wanted to hear how you were actually incentivizing people to still hit those numbers, still hit those goals. And so it sounds like you're using that profit sharing type of bonus incentive program?
Yep. We don't do pay by performance. We don't, I've looked at that. Just not something that I want.
I don't know that it's sustainable as you scale and you had
Correct.
many employees. So
yeah, I mean, we'll have give or take about 44, 45 in the field, I think, around there. Maybe it's a few less, but around that mid 40, low 40 number in the field. And I just think with all of the, the go backs and things like that gets taken out.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of weird stuff there that, I would rather just say, hey guys, we're going to pay you this. If you, increase in position level or significantly increase in responsibilities, whatnot, you're going to get a raise. If you're significantly outperforming it, you will get a raise in August. We do all of our raises in August. So that gives new hires from March, April an opportunity to expand their skills. And then in August, they get that raise. But it also, when somebody said, and we've had 0 so far, knock on wood, but we don't have people say, well, company X offered me, 50 cents more an hour. That's great. We do raises in August. Like that's when we do our raises.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is what it is. Yep. Yeah. And then it just makes it easy. It eliminates that conversation completely. Now, if somebody, like I said, gets, a promotion to a crew leader, well, that's a different position. So they obviously get the appropriate raise with it.
Yeah.
So,
that's good. Yeah. That's good. I forget where I was going. I don't know. I had something else I was going to ask along those lines of the profit and the incentive program, but I think that's cool.
They don't pay me back. They don't pay me back if we lose money. Thankfully, we've never done that. But I did have somebody ask that, and I said, no. We don't profit share the other way as well. I promise. It's just.
I know I was going to ask you. How do you? Yeah. So how do you keep up with? So last year we had our biggest issue was I spent way too much on labor, but it was because we just weren't producing at the rate that we should have been producing. Like I knew what could have been done. It wasn't done. So like we were getting into overtime hours, but we were not generating overtime hour revenue. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So how do you manage that, getting those 42, 43 hours? Like how do you stay on top of that and not let guys go over?
Yeah, so that is simply I care more about the job being done in the correct number of days rather than the correct number of hours. So if somebody goes over hours marginally, I can live with that. But if the job was Monday to Thursday, the job needs to be done at the end of the day Thursday, because I don't want to go pick up X, Y, and Z machine or equipment or anything like that. Like I also don't want to go back for 2 hours of work in the morning. That's less efficient than it would be just to have some overtime. The big thing that it boils down to is we only schedule for 40 hours a week. And so if they are doing 43, 45, heck, if a crew did 50 hours worth of work in a week, I don't care, but we better be doing 50 hours worth of work. If you're, kind of, as you said, if you're doing 50 hours of time and 50 hours of labor, but only getting 35 hours of work done, that doesn't math. Yeah. And so that's where we use budget versus actual, and we put those measurables right in front of the other team members. And then if two are doing an exceptional job and you got one guy who's falling behind, chances are pretty good that problem's going to solve itself.
As you grew through this, did you get how have you perfected your estimating? So that's what it comes down to is if I got a crew that's going out, a crew of 3, and they're going out to mow, and I say, oh, they can do 15 yards, but I'm wrong. Like, where do you find that switch? And you're like, hey, they can't do that. It's not possible. You know what I mean?
So yeah, first things first, nobody's ever going to be as efficient as you because they do not get paid like you. Same thing with me. Same thing that I've had to have this conversation with our production manager.
Yeah, they make more money than done it.
Well, yeah. But he's like, well, I could get this done in X time. It's like, well, that's great, but you're not the one doing it. Yeah. So don't compare this to you. That's not right. You got to compare this to them. And so one of the big things I will talk about is if you think something is wrong, then bring me the solution. That might mean, hey, Sam, you said X, and you said we could do the coping around this pool, and it should take us 1 day. And there's just no way. And they do it, and they're like, oh, it actually took a day and a half. Okay, That's fine. Bring me a sheet of paper with a written production rate on it saying we used this type of coping, we used mortar or glue, we did this, and it was this many feet, and it took this many budgeted hours. Then I can implement that. I can put that back into our software to provide a better bid. But until you do that, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't. And so it's one of the things we're working on is, don't take the monkey. Don't bring me problems. Bring me solutions. Hey, I identified this problem and here's the solution I think we should try. If you don't bring me that, I'm just going to say, hey, I need a couple of solutions then so we can work through this. But I'm no longer the one generating all these ideas.
Yeah.
I can't be. That's
not where your expertise is anymore. Like that's not where your focus is.
Nope. It can't be. I think the people closest to the fire have the best probability of solving that.
Yeah.
I'll make a decision because I know I'll live with it because I made it. But I don't want me to make all these decisions and then they all be wrong and it frustrate the team members who probably had better information to solve them anyway.
Yeah.
So help them or empower them to solve those problems with your help and guidance, obviously, because they might not know the why behind some certain things. Like, hey, we just can't charge more for this. We just have to figure out how to be more efficient because the market won't bear it. Okay, well, we need to rent this piece of equipment. Let's do it. If that's what it takes to get us on budget, then let's do it. And so, the measurable of budgeted hours versus actual hours to me is the most important, bar none. Labor is our number one expenditure. Every single year, every company across the board, that's going to be your largest line item on your P&L. If that can be managed, that will have the largest impact on your bottom line. If we're not managing that and we're worried more about, saving pennies, you're never going to save your way to $1 million. So Sell it right, do it right. That's kind of what it boils down to in my mind. We were in your shoes 2 years ago. We didn't measure it like we should have. And yeah, it bit us. I mean, it hurt. We weren't nearly as profitable as we should have been. And we did this, we had this great year of growth and it was like, oh crap, like we really don't have a whole lot to show for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just focusing on that budget versus actual number is what we found to be a huge driver.
Which all in turn just circles back to what gets measured, what gets managed. Like that's what it comes down to. Like if you're not tracking time in the field, you're not keeping up with that stuff, then it's never going to fix itself. And I think that's something that we're having a real realization of is like, we have to do a better job. Like even with a small group of guys working, like they have to be tracking their time accurately. And you have to set the precedent and the standard that I'm not responsible for your time tracking. If you submit your time and it's wrong, that is on you. Like if you submit it and you forgot to clock in the morning, then that's your fault. Like it's not on me to keep up with when you clock in or clock out. And so, are y'all clocking in and out in? I'm assuming with 40 guys, like they're actually doing like clock sheets in the warehouse.
No, so everything is through Aspire.
Okay, so they're all online.
Yep, we're using Aspire. Everybody clocks in and out of Aspire. Everybody loves to bag on software, and it's not perfect. None of them are. You're going to find things that you don't like about Element.
100%. Nothing's perfect.
No, not at all. But we actually made the threat. Thankfully, never had to do it once we made the threat. But we said, hey, if you're just blindly clocked in, you're not actually clocking into individual properties for snow removal, we're just going to pay you minimum wage because we don't know what you did. We don't know if you provided any value. We're not doing anything illegal. We're paying you minimum wage, but we need you to clock in.
Yeah.
It's important because we're billing all hourly. This is all T&M. It was all drifting work, and drifting is out of scope in our contracts. And so, thankfully, nobody had any issues then when you made a threat. And I don't know if we would have anyway. But
how do you manage that
to the
though?
Point of
of the clock in, clock out, like in this early when y'all first started like getting really strict and adopting that, like you have to clock in the mornings when you get here, not at 8:30 or 9 or whatever, and you can't clock out 20 minutes after you leave either. Like you can't forget and be like, we'll clock out of the house.
Yeah. So with Element, same way with Aspire, it's all crew leader driven, right?
Oh, so you had crew leader doing it all.
Yep. So the crew leader has the iPad. He can clock everybody out, but when somebody gets there, they have to go to his iPad and punch in their 4-digit PIN, and it'll clock them in. I believe it's the exact same way on Element, if I'm not mistaken.
Crew leader's allowed to do it.
So, yep. And so the crew leader, ultimately, if they're a crew leader, they should be responsible enough to do this. And if they can't, like, man, that's like base level task number one. Like, you got to be able to do that. And if you can't, like, am I sure you're the right fit to be a crew leader?
Yeah,
like
100%.
I don't really think you are. And so you got to be able to trust them to do that. And then, simply we had no issues. And I should say that we've had issues. Everybody does, and people make mistakes, and I can live with it. But if somebody's continually making the same mistake over and over and over, are they really the right fit to be the one leading a crew if they can't do base task number one? Yeah. That's where I struggle to see it. So no, I push, the crew level responsibility, push that responsibility back to your teams, because otherwise you're just adding more to your backpack, and eventually, you're weighed down by the rucksack that you got. And so get that out of your bag. And so you can kind of run with leading the business instead of doing some of these tasks.
100%, man. Well, this has been super good. This has been a great people conversation, talking about growing people in your company. We didn't even get to dive into as much as I wanted to today, but I know that it's just a process, man. We could probably have 6 more of these and go even longer and not even touch the surface of it. So maybe we'll get you back on here once we get through spring rush and do a debrief or something. I'll start nagging you now. Maybe we'll get it scheduled by June. So.
That's just fine with me, man. That's just fine. We got some busy stuff over here too. No, it's all good. And I always say you could be stressed because you're busy, or you could be stressed because you have no work.
Exactly.
I know which one I'd prefer. Spring rush is truly the one time you have to grow the business.
That's right.
The moves you make now are what is going to have that nice, pretty top line number, but also, the price you sell it for now, don't drop your pants just to get something sold, because that's what's going to affect that bottom line numbers. So it's the one time that, we're excited to watch all of our friends in the businesses grow and do big things. It's an exciting time of year.
That's what we're here for. I've been saying that spring is here. It's right around the corner. We're in Alabama. We start mowing this week. We are literally in spring. So it's wild that it's already here. Winter flew by. I'm sure y'all are probably glad winter's over. Y'all got hammered. I saw that storm. What was funny is, I don't know, Corey literally did a podcast and was like 3 weeks before that storm. He was like, man, we got to have snow. Like all of our seasonal prepays are getting mad because we hadn't had a bad winter. And then that happened, and I was like, well, Corey, you asked for it. So,
dude, it was like 2 feet in 8 days, 9 days, and then a drift on the back end. Like, it's as bad as we've ever had. We did a really good job at our crews were able to keep everything open. Not everything was perfect. I'm not going to try to tell you it was, but everything was open. Everything was cleared. Everything was pretty dry towards the end. It was just kind of drifting over, but I would be fine if we just go back to like these little 2-inch or 3-inch events. Those are pretty manageable.
Get you another 5 years of those, and then maybe have another big one by then. But
I'm good with that.
I love it, dude. Well, I don't want to hold you. Where can everybody find you if they want to follow up with you and kind of just watch you're building a shop? We didn't even get into any of that, but where can they follow along with you at?
At Etch Outdoor, ETCH Outdoor. You can follow my personal. I post kind of unrelated business stuff, a little bit about the building there that's different, and I'm actually getting my pilot's license, so I post a little bit about flying planes on there. That's Sam _Rankin, RANKIN. Man, I love to connect. It's one of the best parts about this industry is everybody's pretty open. You might not like my answer, but I'm happy to answer about any question. I'm going to cut it straight, and might hurt your feelings, but I'll tell you like it is. And yeah, man, I'd love to be back on here. I think you got a good thing going down there, and good podcast, so I'd be honored to be back.
Yeah, man, I would very much appreciate it. We look forward to it. Hopefully, once you get the shop built, I'd love to come out there. I want to come see Ballard's shop when he opens, so maybe do a 2-for-1 and come see y'all out there. So
come see mine first.
That's right,
please, because you're gonna be like, wow, this is great, and then you can go see his, and you'll forget about mine and don't go the other way. But no, Corey's a mentor of mine. He's a good guy to have in your corner, and not a lot of good things to say about him as well. So you're welcome out here anytime.
Awesome, dude. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope y'all enjoyed it. This has been an awesome conversation with Sam. We really appreciate his time and spending it with us this afternoon. I know that it brought some value to you, helping grow people in your company and growing your company overall. So thanks for tuning into the episode today, guys. I super appreciate it, and we look forward to catching up with everybody here on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.